To AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. We are here live today here on AFTV. I thought I'd do things a little bit differently today on a Saturday. The way you guys interact with the show is absolutely incredible. So I wanted to hear from you guys today, find out how you're feeling this January transfer window, find out the type of players you would like to see us sign, and also to rate some of the rumors that we've been hearing about all week. As a matter of fact, since this January transfer window opened. So the floor is open to you guys today. I really want to hear from as many of you as possible about some of the transfer rumors you've been hearing, and want you to really get involved in the show. Just to kind of bring you up to date on some of the transfers that we've been talking about this week, there's been many of them. Like, Arsenal are getting linked to literally everybody right now. I think everybody can it's quite obvious to see that Arsenal need a forward player, need a striker, and we're getting linked to absolutely everybody right now. Some of the latest players we've been linked to include John Duran of Aston Villa. We was very heavily linked with him yesterday. Those links are continuing again today. We've been told around about £60 million. There's been players like Nico Williams, who plays for Athletic Bilbao. We know that we could do with a player over in that left wing. We know that Mikel Arteta is a huge admirer of him. He's got this release clause of around about £50 million, heavily linked with Arsenal, even though we've been told that the wages could be an issue for him. Marcus Rashford of Manchester United being hawked around everywhere right now by his representatives. He was over in Italy speaking to AC Milan and Inter Milan, but we've also heard this week that Arsenal have made an inquiry. Could Rashford be an option? Matheus Cunha, who still hasn't signed that brand new contract that has been offered to him at Wolverhampton Wanderers, could he be on the move this January? Arsenal are admirers of Cunha. Could they make a move? Igor Paxial of Feyenoord was another player that was mentioned this week as a left-wing option, as well as Igor Jesus, who's another player that's been linked, the 23-year-old, valued at around about £70 million. And then we're continuing to hear rumours about players like Kingsley Coman possibly coming on loan, Ronald Aruhu, who looks like he's going, or he's on his way to Juventus, possibly on loan. He's apparently asked to leave Barcelona, but could also make a move for him. Really highly thought of, really liked by Mikel Arteta. I mean, there are just lots and lots of rumours out there, and I want to get your opinion on some of them, and I want to get your feelings about some of them. So we're here, and I want to hear from you guys. Are we going to sign somebody this January transfer window? And also, who will that signing be? Now, straight away, I can see this comment here from Apollo, who says the answer is a simple no. I think we will sign a player. I was told by a very, very good source that Arsenal are looking at quite a few options right now, and they know that they do need to sign a player this January transfer window. And I think it would be criminal if they didn't. Now, I don't know if you guys have had a chance to yet. And if you haven't yet, please, I urge you to go and look at a video that came out today where I'm speaking to Dr. Andre, doctor who actually did the medical for Mikel Arteta. He did the medical for Mikel Arteta when Mikel Arteta joined Everton. He's was Everton's doctors for years. And he knows a lot about injuries. He's still a practicing doctor, has his own clinic up here in Chester from the Oxford Natural. I asked him in the interview about the injury to Bukayo Saka, which of course we know is a hamstring injury that needed surgery. And that surgery was carried out at the end of December. In the video, he says that an injury like that, you're talking about 4 to 6 months. 4 to 6 months to recover from an injury like that, hamstring injury that requires surgery. You've got to reattach the hamstring. He goes into a lot of detail in the interview. I urge you to go and watch it. Now, if Saka's out for 4 months, And he just had that injury right at the end of December. We're talking about not seeing that player till the end of April. And the season finishes in May. If the injury is 6 months, because he says 4 to 6 months, if it's even 5 months, that's it. He's done for the season. The likelihoods of seeing Bukayo Saka back in an Arsenal shirt before the end of the season are looking very slim. Arsenal have to go into the transfer market and buy somebody to play in that position. We saw the game against Newcastle during the week. We were so ineffective down that right-hand side. We've been having problems on the left-hand side. Now we're having problems on the right-hand side. When teams come and they deploy a low block, we are finding it really, really difficult to unlock that. And we need to make some signings. So with Saka being out, it is absolutely essential that we sign either a striker or a wide forward player to help out in the attacking areas, because right now we are really lacking in those areas. So who should we buy? Who should we bring in? I saw more rumors today linking us with Sesko. Remember, Sesko heavily linked with in the summer. He decided to stay at his club. We'll be linked with Sesko again today. Option. Vlahovic has been mentioned again today. Options. None of these options are easy to be done in January. The hardest transfer window to get players over the line is the January transfer window, because most clubs don't want to sell. You get the top clubs, no way are they going to sell that player in January, because they're pushing on various different fronts to win things. And even if that player is at a club down near the bottom, like a Matheus Cunha, who probably in the summer will be a lot more easier to do, Wolverhampton Wanderers are not going to want to sell him. They're going to want to hold on to him with dear life, because they're trying to survive the drop. And dropping out of the Premier League could cost you £100 million. So if they're going to sell their star player for like 60 million, work the maths out. You're better off holding on to him, trying to survive, trying to not lose £100 million, and then you can still sell him in the summer. That is what starts to happen. So want to hear from as many of you as possible. I already see some super chats coming in. Big up to Clara Bitsy there. I know Clara's a big Chelsea fan, but you're welcome here. Says, Robbie, please drop an AFTV exclusive. Well, listen, I've got nothing to drop right now. It's been fairly quiet as regards rumours. The only thing I can say is what I've heard, that Arsenal are definitely signing a player or two this month. They know the circumstances, they know the situation, and they know that they need to sign. Canadian Gooner 1995 says, Sterling, Zinchenko, Jesus, Jorginho. I don't want club leftovers. As Curtis Shaw said on his last stream, Arsenal are the bin boys taking leftovers. I think, listen, that's a bit harsh. Zinchenko and Jesus, those two players came in and absolutely changed Arsenal when they came in 2 seasons ago. Nobody was calling them bin boys then, right? They absolutely changed Arsenal. I think Jorginho has done a good job since he's come in. He always, listen, we signed Jorginho for like £10 million, something like that. He was always coming as just a backup player, and he's done really, really well. By the way, there's a lot of rumours linking him with a move away. He's been linked to a move to Brazil. But he'll probably go in the summer. He's just been going on like year-to-year contracts. The Sterling one, he's only here on loan, and I just don't quite get it. If Sterling doesn't play tomorrow, I mean, what is the point? But taking your points here. Costa says, Robbie, big up. We have to be realistic. And I think Gyökeres and Cunha are not. If there's any truth that John Duran being available due to Villa's PSR problems, we must get him. I'm willing to start a GoFundMe campaign. Who's with me? Well, even a GoFundMe campaign for John Duran, you've got to raise about £60 million. That's a lot of money. The John Duran rumours, there is something in it. We know that Villa have got problems with PSR, although, you know, we're looking at the moment and they're trying to get Donnell Marlon from Borussia Dortmund, which will cost them about £30 million. So how deep are those problems? But I think the John Duran one's going to depend on if the player himself wants to leave the club, which he may do, because, you know, the main man's Ollie Watkins. At the start of the season, he nearly left to join West Ham in the summer transfer window. John Duran would definitely be an option. He's done really well. He's still a bit raw, but would add to our attack for sure. Gyökeres or Gyökeres, whichever way you want to pronounce it. Tough deal to do. Very expensive, firstly. There has been rumours that Arsenal don't really think he fits what they're trying to do. He scores a lot of goals. He's a striker. That fits for me, right? And may not move for him. He's got this release clause, but you are right, Costa. Could be difficult to do because the player himself may be looking at it and say, let me just stay at Sporting until the end of the season. We're going for the league. We're still in the Champions League. Let me just go out as a good servant. There's a lot of players who want to leave a club with goodwill. They don't want to just off ski. You know what I mean? So he may want to do that. But do Arsenal go aggressive? Go in there, slap that money on the table for Sporting. There's the release clause. Come on, let's go. And then it's down to the player. Matheus Cunha, same sort of thing. We were being told at the start of the week he's definitely signing a brand new contract at Wolves, and he still might do that. But then we heard the rumours that he's considering his options. So it ain't done yet. Doing really well this season, 10 goals in the Premier League. Should Arsenal go in again and get all aggressive with him? Or is he definitely staying? The other thing that sometimes, I mean, listen, I know I'm sitting here and I'm saying go all aggressive, go in there, slap an offer down. And this has been something that has been told to me by an agent who looks after quite a few Premier League players, big ones as well. He said to me, Robbie, sometimes all the fans and that will look at it and say, yeah, there's a release clause out there. Just go and meet it, be aggressive. During the January transfer window and the summer transfer window, you can talk to the player and you can talk to the players. Invariably, they're not going to talk directly to the player. They talk first to the agent. And you may go and talk to the agent of Victor Gyökeres and say, listen, what is the likelihood of Victor Gyökeres moving this January transfer window? Does he want to leave the club? And the agent could turn around and say, listen, spoken to Victor. He said to me, I'm not going anywhere till the summer. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay right here. In the summer, I'll move, but right now, I'm staying put. Now, if a player says that, and then the agent relays that back to the club, then there's no point in going and slapping an offer down. That was kind of like what happened with the Nico, because this was when I was having that discussion with the agent. He was saying to me that he feels that that's what happened with the Nico Williams thing in the summer, because he knew for a fact that Arsenal really, really wanted Nico Williams. But if the player is saying to them, I'm not going, why go and slap down an offer and embarrass yourself? And if you notice, neither Arsenal nor Barcelona, who really wanted him, went and put any offers in, despite the release clause. So even though I'm saying that, you know, those are the sort of things that go on behind the scenes that we don't see. And it could be that, you know, Gyökeres has already said, I'm not making no moves this January transfer window. Joseph Firm, big up, says PSG sign Kvaratskhelia, City, Mamouche. No excuses. We don't act like a big club. Swiss Ramble report said that we lose 170 million and are still in the black. Wake up. Arteta's refusal to want a forward will cost us. He says, big up from Dubai, Rob. Big up to you, bro. I wish I was in Dubai right now. And I looked outside my window earlier this morning. I had to go and do something on Sky. It was freezing. -6. Right? But big up to you, Josephine. Now, Kvaratskhelia does look like he's on his way to PSG. Left winger. Great player. Lots of fans have been saying to me, why have Arsenal not gone in there and put a bid in to try and get Kvaratskhelia? You know, bring him to the Premier League. We need a left winger. Again, I can't answer that question, you know what I mean, because I'm not doing the recruitment. But certainly, that's an option. And Mamouche, again, striker, having a great season for Eintracht Frankfurt. You know, when I was speaking about it about a week ago. Everyone's like, yeah, it's so difficult, so difficult. But quite rightly so, as these fans are saying, this fan is saying, how come City are getting it done? You know? But then we have done, I think it's a bit unfair to say we don't act like a big club, because we went and got Declan Rice for £100 million and blew City out of the water that made them back out of that deal. And we got Declan Rice. So that was acting like a big club. What are we going to act and do this January transfer window? We got to remember that. You know what I mean? We got to remember that. We can't just look at everything in isolation. We have done some big deals on players like that. Clara again says, on a serious note, Robbie, do you think Arsenal will sign anyone as there's no director of football? Yes, I do. Again, even though there's no director of football, and we heard this week rumours that it could be Thomas Rosicky who comes in to take over that role. I still think, listen, just because there's not a director of football, they would have a clear plan for this January. With Mikel Arteta probably taking the reins on that, and I'm sure if they've got their targets, they know who they are. So that shouldn't hinder us from signing a player. More super chats coming in, and thank you very much for all of these, and thank you for all the comments that are coming in. Nee says, pay 40 million up front plus Jesus on loan for Victor Gyökeres with an obligation to buy, and top up 20 million if he scores 10 goals. Now, sounds great, all that. It sounds easy. First of all, Gabriel Jesus is going to have to want to go to Sporting, which he probably doesn't want to go to Sporting, because to go from Arsenal to Sporting, he's going to look on it like a step down. A player looks at their options. They look at places where they want to go to, not where the club sends them to. So it's not as easy as that. Sporting have got to want Jesus. Maybe Jesus don't fit what they want. They want somebody more clinical. It doesn't work like that. If only it did, but it doesn't work like that. Next super chat coming in here from, oh, sorry, I just did that one, Nee. Big up to you. This one is coming in from Do Nutella. He says, love your work, Robbie. Could you give a shout out to my good friend, Dennis? Right, I have to check these, before people. I'll say Dennis. Right, he's a diehard Arsenal fan, and I want to gift this to him. Hermanos, he says, big up to Dennis, man. Enough respect, and big up to you. And Tanisk says, let me get that one. Arsenal does business late, so deadline day is that. That's the thing, Tanis. Now, and listen, it could be deadline day, but Tanis, for me, deadline day is not helpful for Arsenal this year. They need to do business now, I think. Early. Look at the games we've got. I would have liked to have seen someone come in already. Manchester United tomorrow. Spurs on Wednesday. Villa on Saturday. 2 Champions League games this month. Important Champions League games to get into that automatic qualification. I'm really surprised that Arsenal haven't gone out there and made at least one signing already. Now, you'll have clubs sometimes, including Arsenal, gambling a bit, saying, all right, let's see how we get through these next few games. We get through these. We may not need anybody. We need, and we need that person early. I don't think Arsenal should be waiting till deadline day. It's going to be too late. And there's a Brett Gold Music says that. He says, this month is too late. They should buy now. And I'm kind of slightly in agreement with that. That we've got to get somebody in early. No context. Richard D. Hall says, what do people think? I think the club doesn't want to spend money on a panic buy now and wants to get their main targets in the summer. Now, I've heard that a lot. Nobody wants to panic buy. We've seen it a lot down the years. We've seen panic buys. Nobody wants to panic buy. However, we are in a situation where we've got a big problem. And we are still in a lot of competitions. We're still in the League Cup, despite that 2-0 defeat. We're still in it. It's the first leg. We're still in the FA Cup. Well, we play it tomorrow. We'll find out where we are. But we've got a competition to play. We're still in the Champions League. We're set in a very good position in the Champions League to progress through to the automatic qualifications. And we are still in the league. We're second place. Liverpool been faltering a bit at the moment, been letting us in. They're still in the driving seat. Get those signings. Why are we waiting to the summer? The season will be finished in the summer. We still got a season to play now. We saw that last season, Arsenal went on a magnificent run from now, it was January, until the season finished. Unbelievable run that Arsenal went on. So it can be done. But the team needs freshening up. It needs freshening up. Why would we wait until the summer, right? Unless a target is saying they can't come. Move for it now. Move for it now. Ozef says, Robbie, if I wanted to work for AFTV and said, let me have my own show, you'd laugh me off. Imagine a 37-year-old Arsenal FC with no prior coaching experience, absolute disaster and waste over half of a decade. Well, I think you're talking about Mikel Arteta there. Mikel Arteta has had, he wasn't experienced as a manager, but Mikel Arteta, you know, was assistant manager at Manchester City, the team that was winning everything for years and years under Pep Guardiola. And the manager has to start somewhere, and he's done a good job, I think, since he's come in. But when he came in, we were nowhere near challenging for anything. Nowhere near, right? And over the last 2 seasons, we've challenged for the league. I think, listen, Mikel Arteta left Arsenal tomorrow. He'll have clubs queuing up to take him. That's the fact. Whether he's ultimately going to prove to be the right person for Arsenal or not, you can't say that he's not a good manager, because he is, right? Because we weren't challenging for anything. So to say an absolute disaster and a waste of over half a decade, I don't agree with that at all. I'm sorry. Canadian Gooner 1995 says Arteta is 11 for 33 transfers. Correct. Time to go. Well, again, listen, a lot of managers, even the best managers, get transfers wrong. I mean, you know, Pep Guardiola has got many a transfer wrong. I don't think Jack Grealish has performed, you know, when you consider he cost £100 million, you couldn't say he was a great signing for Manchester City. Calvin Phillips. This is Pep we're talking about. People get them wrong. Mikel Arteta, with his signings, has built a great side. Why he hasn't brought in a striker, that's the one that baffles me. But we've got a great defence. We've got a great midfield. We've got a decent attack. Saka in there, some very, very good attack. Get a striker. Get a striker, Mikel. He-Man says, Rob, hand on heart, what do you think Arsenal will do this window? I worry it's already in the middle of the month. For me, Cunha and a loan for Sane or Coman. Now, listen, if we did that, I'd be happy with that for this January transfer window. I think that would be something that would get us back on track. There'll be exciting players coming through the door. So I'd be all for that. Hand on heart, I do feel we are going to make some signings this January transfer window. I think we have to. We absolutely have to. Karim Adeyemi to Arsenal should be, plus a striker. Sounds good. Very exciting player. You know, Dortmund got to be willing to sell. But, you know, sounds good. Sounds good. Let's get this one here. Come on. M says, nah, this guy's embarrassing us with all these pointless videos. We ain't signing anyone special. So allow the video with the doctor is stupid. What does that? Well, listen, there's a lot of people who love that video with the doctor. The doctor, I mean, are you a doctor, M? Do you know the extent of, you know, when you have a hamstring surgery and what that causes, stuff like that? Did you not learn from that? Or did you just see the title, watch a minute of it and just come off? If you watch that video, you will learn a lot. So, and these are not pointless videos because, you know, hundreds of thousands, I mean, millions of people watch them every summer and every January. And last summer, there was people saying to me, Robbie, stop doing these videos, man. We ain't signing anyone. Well, we did sign people, right? And the whole purpose of these videos are to talk about the rumours and the players have been linked with Arsenal. And that's what we do. That's what we do. I'm sorry you don't like it. But I'm continuing. Right. Leandros says, do you think that Kava is 100% PSG? No noise about others, plus people calling for Arteta sack are delusional and entitled. He's done a great job and close to glory. Listen, calling for him to be sacked, everybody's got their opinion. I'm a bit with you, Leandros. I think people need to just go back to when he came in and remember where we were. But I understand when people get very frustrated when they don't see certain signings being made. In the summer, we should have signed a striker. Now, the Kvaratskhelia one does look, for all intents and purposes, that he is on his way to PSG. They're the team. I was looking what Fabrizio Romano said earlier, that put the money down on the table. All the terms seem agreeable with the player. Obviously, they've got to negotiate with Napoli, but they got the money that Napoli apparently want. Is anybody else going to come in? Who knows? But at the moment, definitely looks like PSG are in the driving seat to make that signing. And you're right. I mean, I'd look on it and say, he's a player that would, he's an exciting player. I mean, when they won the league, Napoli, he was absolutely brilliant. I know he's had a bit of a drop-off this season. But it does look like PSG are in the driving seat for that signing. Jamie says 2 players in or Arteta out after the season ends. He's under a lot of pressure, Mikel Arteta, this January transfer window. Really is. Josephone says, Rosicky worries me. Clearly Arteta's decision. Yeah, that decision hasn't been made yet. He hasn't come in yet. It's speculation at the moment. He says, how can a manager choose his own boss? A yes man. And from the era of not winning things, perfect for Kroenke. Now, who said that Arteta's choosing Rosicky? That's another thing. It's not necessarily true. We don't know. That's the truth of the matter. We don't know who's choosing. And we don't even know if Rosicky's going to get the job. It's just he's been spoken about as one as a favourite. And he has been working as a sporting director, I think since 2018. So he's not like he's just a mate, bro, come and work as a sporting director, man. You know what I mean? I know the man, then we're going to get you a little bring in. He does know the job. Big J Shred says, big clubs continue to build, not just sign a £100 million player and follow it up with dead loan deals and mediocre overpriced midfielders. Now, I guess you're talking about Mikel Merino. I think some of the criticism of Mikel Merino has been very, very unfair. The guy's just come. Didn't have a pre-season. I agree, he's not lit it up. He's not at all. But do you just bin a player just like that after like a few months? I mean, come on. There's been great players, legends that have come to this club that have not hit the ground running. So let's wait a little bit. Wait a little bit. Thomas John says, is Arteta the victim? Kroenke's the Arteta. No, he says, is Arteta the victim? Kroenke's the problem. Nobody was mentioning, listen, Kroenke's have annoyed me a lot over the years, right? But nobody was talking about the Kroenke's for much of last season and at the start of this season when we were doing all right. So, listen, it's easy to talk about Kroenke's now. It's easy to find scapegoats in it and blame this and blame that. However, Mikel Arteta is going to come under a lot of criticism, quite rightly so, if we don't get certain players. So, we need to make some positive signings this year. Even something to just like rejuvenate the thing, you know what I mean? Get the juices flowing again. Dennis says, no transfers expected in this window unless there's a massive opening. Arsenal are looking to make 3 major signings in the summer window, 1 being a striker, left winger, and a CDM. Well, listen, we need those, or we need one of those signings now. And I know there's been some people saying there'll be no signings. Listen, some of these headlines that you read, you can't go off of all of them. I remember reading a headline last week where it said that, because obviously I go through all of these things every single day. And it said, on one day, it said, Arsenal are not making any signings. Everything's waiting till the summer, blah, 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 blah. That same publication the next day said Arsenal are going to make a sign, you know what I mean, are all in to try and sign blah, blah, blah player. And they're looking at this. But I'm thinking, bro, yesterday he said this. Headlines. The truth of the matter, then, is right. Nobody knows. Even a lot of these so-called ITKs and journalists that say they know it, they don't know. They don't know. They may get a little hint, but they don't know. I'm telling you this for a fact. I've spoken to Arsenal hierarchy. They weren't telling you nothing, right? Sometimes let me break down how a lot of rumors get out. Mainly clubs, especially Arsenal, they ain't telling you nothing. They're not telling you nothing. How you get a lot of the information sometimes is through agents. Now, this is how you see a lot of transfer rumors that are out there. A lot of transfer rumors come through agents. So you'll have some journalists, they know certain agents. Even me, I know a few agents. Give them a call. Is there anything in this? And they might say to you, yes. They might say to you, no. They might give you a little bit more information. But mainly, a lot of this information comes through agents. A player sometimes might have made something slip to a mate or something that then could get through to a journalist. That's how most of the rumors come out. Clubs are not going to go and tell... Mikel Arteta's not going to go out there and say, yeah, you know what, we're talking to Nico Williams, to a journalist. Ain't happening. It ain't happening. An agent might reveal to a journalist that, yeah, you know what, guess who called me yesterday? Arteta. And he's interested in Nico Williams. So those are how a lot of the... But clubs, you know, so... And a lot of these rumors and a lot of things are speculation. So some journalists, obviously, these journalists, some of them smart guys, they put 2 and 2 together and they say, yeah, Arsenal are planning this. Or they base it off of what they heard in the past. But I feel that Arsenal, obviously, their plans, that's probably true, that they're looking in the summer to get a striker, to get another CDM, because we know that Partey is going to leave and Jorginho is going to leave, to get a wide player. That was probably their plan when the summer transfer window closed, yeah? But with the circumstances that have happened, first of all, you get the circumstances of how the season's been going and the circumstances of injuries to your best player like Bukayo Saka. They then have to then look at things again and say, you know what? We're going to have to go in there and get this person, or that we need to get a signing. That's how it works. It's a fluid situation, and Arsenal at the moment need to make some signings. It's as simple as that. But let's see. Let's see. Keenan says, how much do you think the new stand, £300 million upgrade, has a bearing on what we do in the tax window now and in the summer? I think, listen, the truth of the matter is I don't know. Right? I don't even, you know, a lot of this stuff about newsstand speculation. No work has started on a newsstand yet. We've heard about it. We don't know if that money, how that works into the plans of transfers and stuff like that. The truth is, Keenan, I do not know, and I don't think anybody knows unless you're part of the board at the club. But listen, for Arsenal to maintain the standards, they're going to have to sign players. It's as simple as that. Let's get into this one coming from Abdi. Big up to you, Abdi. He says, if Man City buys Mamouche and Kazanov, I've seen that Kazanov, they're paying a lot of money for him. That's, you know, we wouldn't blame no one but ourselves if we don't win anything. We have to sign and compete. And I agree with you. We don't sign anybody, Abdi. We don't sign anybody. Listen, already there's a lot of fans giving Mikel Arteta a stick. And as I said, whilst I do not subscribe to this thing about Arteta out, get him out, his signings have all been crap, I don't subscribe to that at all, because it's not true. However, where I do agree with some people is he has to sign this January. I almost think it's a bit like a dereliction of duty. If you think that you're going to win the league without one of your main players like a Saka, it's not going to happen. You have to strengthen. You know, you can't, and even if you can't replace Saka, you've got to collectively find another solution to that attack. And I think Everybody can see it. This was what I was on Sky this morning and I said this. A lot of the frustration from Arsenal fans comes from like the other night when we were watching that game. On one side, you see Alexander Isak, clinical striker. On our side, you see forward players that are good but are not clinical. And that's what cost us the game. And that is why people were really frustrated. So we have to sign. We have to. We have to. Nick Sober says, sick of KSE. All they want is top four, KSE out. They're not going nowhere. They own the club outright now. Lock, stock, and barrel, 100%. They ain't going. That's the truth of the matter. You know, I just have to be honest with you. Josephine says, Schick yesterday for Leverkusen is what we need. I don't think so. That's not for me. I want to see somebody better than that come in. Yes, over the years, he's been a decent player. He's got a really horrendous record as well. When it comes to injuries, I don't. Nah, not for me. Mish says Osimhen, possibility. Osimhen's out there. Danny Olmo not gettable. Danny Olmo, that's been sorted out now. I know I've been speaking about it on Transfer Daily. That news broke through last night that Barcelona have now registered Danny Olmo. So Danny Olmo is a Barcelona player. So the Danny Olmo thing is off. So you can't get Danny Olmo. And Diblin, good player, but we need more than that. All available and won't cost much. No excuses. I'm not sure that Southampton, even though they're almost down, will sell Diblin until the summer. They'll get the same money. This is the thing, they'll get the same money. Black Kid says, payroll Robbie. I've heard this guy said, yeah, you're on the payroll, Robbie. Just because I'm not being ultra negative. Pro, that's what you think. Well done to you. Yeah? On my payroll. That's the only payroll I'm on. I buy my own tickets to games. I buy my own Arsenal top. I've got my own company. I ain't on nobody's payroll. I say what I want to say. And I say things. I try to be balanced in the things that I say. You think that? Bro, show me the money. I wouldn't mind it. Right? Simon says, I bet my wages are the main thing holding Arteta and Kroenke back. I bet wages are the main thing holding Arteta and Kroenke back. They need to control of the future wage demands. And listen, wages, everybody always just talks, when they talk about transfers, a lot of people just talk about, the fee. But wages do come into it. They really do come into it. Cunha to win us the league, says Mies. With loads of laughing emojis. Probably saying that because they're down near the bottom, but he's a very good player. Would you not be excited if we got Mateus Cunha in? I would certainly be excited. I think he's a very, very good player who would do much better at a better club. Quality player. Bob B says, I hate the notion that we were nowhere before Arteta. Arsenal had us challenging 3 or 4 years before. Where? Challenging what? Challenging what? No, we weren't. 3 or 4 years before Arteta, and also won FA Cups. Yeah, Mikel Arteta won the FA Cup. I think FA Cup's nice, but everybody wants to try and win the league, right? Emery took us to the European Cup final, which he lost. Emery didn't get us into the. Emery didn't challenge for the league, and Emery didn't even that season get us into the Champions League with a fraction of the money. So listen, Emery did not cut it at Arsenal. That season didn't get us into the league. We were favourites in that final, lost 4-1, sorry. Sorry, you're wrong. James on Arsene Wenger didn't, I think there was one season, the season when Leicester won it, that we had an inkling, we had a little sniff. Last 2 seasons, we've challenged properly for the league and come runners up, right? So that's a challenge. James Smith says they keep it a secret to stop outer clubs being alerted and start a bidding war. Do you agree? Big up to Turkish, James, judges, and yourself. Thank you very much. That is true. Listen, if you go out there and you go all public with absolutely every signing You're going to make bidding wars and all those things can take place. So clubs want to keep it secret. There's kind of two tactics to transfers. There was one is the secret one. So you say nothing, he's quiet, keep it. By the way, right, on Monday, we got an interview coming out with Sol Campbell ahead of the North London derby. That was the most secretive transfer of all time that Arsenal pulled off, right? Watch that video. It's absolutely brilliant, right? So there's keeping it really, really secret. The other one is the aggressive method. Bit like what we're seeing happening at the moment with Real Madrid and Trent Alexander-Arnold, where they're like, yo, we want you. They make it public. We want you. We'll pay you the money. Right, Liverpool, he wants to leave you lot. But there's that tactic, right? And you have to be certain that the player wants to come to you to kind of deploy that one. And even then, you've got to be careful because you can piss the club off. And the club says, you know what, at all costs, we're not selling to these lot. Or what it can do sometimes, it can affect future dealings between you and that club. It's a lot of nuances to transfer deals. Michael says, if Yardman is acting crazy, things must be bad. It doesn't take much for him to act crazy. Big up to Yardman, by the way. Big up to Yardman, right? Red and White Cannon says, last resort, but Rashford, would you take him? I remember one time he was a Man United's talisman. I think he can do a job better than nothing. Now, out there, I want to pose this to you guys. Marcus Rashford. Would you take him at Arsenal? Would you take him on loan? Well, listen, he put the question to me. I'll answer my part first, and then you guys can tell me what you think. I'd take him on loan. I wouldn't buy Marcus Rashford. I wouldn't buy Marcus Rashford. I think Arsenal should be aiming to get somebody with a higher ceiling, somebody a bit younger, a bit hungrier. But if Marcus Rashford was willing to come to Arsenal on loan from now till the end of the season, with the current situation that we're in, I would take him. I would take him because right now we are very light in that area, so I would take him. But long term, I don't think Marcus Rashford's the answer for Arsenal. That's just my opinion. Coach Monteria Futi says, same story every year. If we could get good forwards, why don't we have good... If we get good forwards, we don't have good defenders, sorry. If we get a good mid, we're missing a winger. We never change. We never get the complete package of what we need, is what he's saying there. And big up to Kendall, who just sends in a super chat, but no message attached. But thank you very much to you, Kendall. Let's get into some of the other chats. There's loads of it coming through. Thank you very much to that. Let me see if I can scroll down a bit. Happy Gunner says, I think Isak, Williams, Gorkarez, I don't think is any possibility in January. Couldn't be difficult. Mason Greenwood, what do you think, Robbie? No. Mason Greenwood's not going to go down very well in the Premier League. There'd be too much hassle. Billy says, Vlahovic on loan until the summer of 2025. Then go full whack and sign Isak on full term. Sounds easy. I don't think Juventus going to loan Vlahovic. I think if you went in with a massive offer, they may be willing to sell Vlahovic because he hasn't signed a new contract yet. But nah. Lee Williams says, if Tony had a bad attitude, how could they consider signing Rashford? Great point. And there was also Aubameyang that he let go. He says, we won't sign anyone in this window. Still love the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners. I think we will, Lee. I think we will sign. I really do. Don Wobby. Why focus on Rashford? He's performing worse than Martinelli over the past 2 years. Can he be rejuvenated, Don? Can he be made into a better player? Could we get the Marcus Rashford that a couple of seasons ago was tearing up the Premier League? Kusa says, Robbie, if Cheeto didn't leave in the off-season to Man United, do you think we would have he would have been brought up to the first squad or given our striker woes? He may very well may have done. The thing is with these young players is that you really don't know if they're ready yet. You don't know yet if a player like that, as good as he is, you don't really know yet if he's ready because we've not really seen play. I mean, a player can be absolutely killing it at youth level, but then they're not ready yet for the big step up. So the truth of the matter is, we don't know, but he was really doing well, and it was a big blow when Arsenal lost him. SC Ramble 68 says, question, Robbie, Jonathan David has 6 months left on his contract. Why isn't he being mentioned? Good shout. Good shout. I've really been surprised on this Jonathan David thing. He's such a goal scorer throughout his time at Lille, and he's still at Lille. I really don't understand. Even now, like you said, 6 months left. Nobody's gone in hard for Jonathan David. Every club across Europe would have scouted him with his goal-scoring record. I really wonder why. And I remember watching him playing for Canada, and he looked good as well. So I don't know. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. It'd be interesting to see where he ends up going to, because he you know, he's not going to stay at Lille beyond this season. So Tomo17 says City are already extremely close to their second signing, Marmoush, which is exactly the kind of attacker that we need. And we're just sitting there chilling, showing no hunger to actually win anything at all. Again, you know, when you see like a signing like that, well, listen, yeah, they haven't signed Marmoush yet, right? But, you know, a lot of the rumors are they are going to get it done. Let's wait and see. Junior said Duran to me is a super sub. Well, he's a goal scorer. He's a goal scorer, and I think he's a very, very exciting player. So you know, Leo says Gyökeres is realistic. Trigger the release clause. Again, as I said earlier, you really don't know sometimes what the player is saying to his agent and whether or not that is close to being done. You really don't know. Because if you notice with Gyökeres, and there's a lot of teams across Europe that need a striker, nobody's triggered the release clause. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier, that sometimes, well, not sometimes, all times, players are going to go to the club or directly to the player in January and they say, what's the likelihood? Does he want to leave? Where is he? Where's his mind at? Is he leaving now in January? Does he want to go? Because if he does, we might go and trigger the release clause. Or does he want to stay? And they might have been told he doesn't want to leave. He wants to stay. He wants to stay till the end of the season, then come back in there. Okay, cool. We'll come back. That happens a lot. Cryptic Dino says, I think there was a plan before the season to strengthen the defense this season and get attackers in the summer, but things have changed. We must adapt. Cryptic Dino, see that word that you just used? Adapt. We must adapt. Absolutely perfect. That is what we've got to. Whatever your plans are in the summer, you've got to adapt. You have to adapt. Me, I run my business, AFTV. I have to adapt. When I first started doing AFTV, nobody was making YouTube content. Now every man and his dog's making it, right? I have to adapt. If I keep doing what I was doing 10, 12 years ago, no more Robbie. You have to adapt, right? It's the same with Arsenal. You got your plans. You say, right, what we're going to do? We're going to get some defenders in there. We're going to get this in. And then we're looking long term. We're looking at him. And then Saka gets injured. Then the goals dry up. But you're still in a good position in the league. Adapt your plans. You know what? We were looking at the summer, but we're going to have to bring that forward to now. We may have to pay an extra 10, 15 million to get that player. We're going to have to do it. We're still in everything. We've still got a chance. We're going to have to do it. Adapt. Great super chat there, Cryptic Dino. This one coming from Stefan. He says, Jonathan David, too small. We don't need any more 5'9" strikers. All right. Well, what if they're good though? What if they score loads of goals? What if they're, I'd still have him. He-Man says, I would always pay more and get Premier League proven players. What about for you guys out there, Brian Mbuemo? I like him as well. Lionheart Fitness says, we are a serious club. We hire rookies to do a professional job. Same story every season. I'm out. You're out where? Where you going? What do you mean you're out? You can't just go out like that. You know what I mean? What do you mean you're out? Right, listen, we're trying to get, okay. I just got a message through that we're trying to get a guest on, so we'll see who we can get on. And once again, look out on Monday for that interview that we did with Sol Campbell. Absolutely brilliant, ahead of the North London derby. And Sol Campbell talks a lot about why he moved from Tottenham to Arsenal. And it's really, really intriguing. Two big reasons why he moved. So make sure you watch that video when it comes out. It's absolutely brilliant. B17 Art says, look, I believe Arteta is unreal. However, no title. Yeah, no title at the moment. Sign Isak, strikers, then Barcola from PSG. Jake, on that, actually, that's a little rumor that today that's been around about Barcola. Linking Barcola of PSG with a possible loan move to Arsenal. Now, the reason why that loan move is being talked about is that obviously we're hearing these rumours about Kvaratskhelia going from Napoli to PSG. And what some of the rumours are saying is that if that happens, Barcola, they may send him out on loan, and Arsenal, obviously, could do it a left winger, may be interested in signing him. Listen, that's what the rumour says. I don't really see what that's based on at the moment. Rather more speculation, but it is a rumor that is out there today. Grant Ross says, I doubt we will sign anyone. If we do it, will be Chelsea players once they've had their yellow sticker put on. We're not a big club, as release clauses or not make bids, let other side decide. We signed a player for £100 million, Grant. Can you name me as a quiz, Grant? Yeah. How many other clubs in the Premier League have signed a player for £100 million? Yeah. Not many. I think City, Chelsea, and Arsenal have signed the players for £100 million. Nobody else. Small clubs don't sign players for £100 million. You may be unhappy with the players that have been signed. You may be unhappy that we haven't signed a striker. But to say we're a small club when it comes to signings, we're not. We're not. OG says, alert. I think he meant to say Arteta. Arteta killed Martinelli's form. No good. Number 8. I think it's a little, listen, Martinelli's form is down, I think, a lot to Martinelli. He just has, I mean, the other night when he was running through on goal, I don't know why he didn't just compose himself and just like, he could have run a few more yards and then picked his spot. He went early. I think it's like that's a confidence thing, in my opinion. That's a confidence thing. And that's for the manager to get that confidence flowing again. But, where's this one? Let me see this one. Anibus89 says, we didn't blow City out of the water. They weren't willing to pay it over, and we were. City have won trophies since, while we haven't. We did blow City out of the water. They was even, Pep Guardiola even said it. We can't match that. Right, that's what he said at the time. We did blow City out of it. If that City had done that, you would have said they blew us out of the water with getting that Declan Rice deal. Because we've done it, we didn't blow them out of the water. It's £100 million. What are you talking about? You think that grows on? Do you think that's a little transfer? That's one of the biggest transfers of all time. Come on, you've got to be fair when you talk about stuff. You've got to be fair. You can't say Arsenal don't spend any money and they bought a player for £100 million. You can moan that they didn't buy a striker, but you can't say they didn't spend any money. £100 million. You can't say that. Simple. So I like fair and balanced there. Like, you know, and I know everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but sometimes I like to put a bit of balance in the place. Can't say that. It can't be one way. Because, if a player, you know, if there were some fans, Kvaratskhelia is going to PSG. Why aren't we getting him with small club? That deals about 70 million. Maybe they don't want Kvaratskhelia. Listen, that's up to the club and that's up to the manager. Maybe they think you don't fit. That's their opinion. Right? A striker will, let me just get this one. A striker will struggle in this system, says Clintz. Arteta is definite first. Pablo says, what about Coman and a loan option and buy Sesko? Listen, I think Kingsley Coman will be a great option on loan if that's possible to be done. And B17 Art says, what do you think of Odegaard at the moment? Need him on form. His form has fallen off. His form has been poor. I've got an absolute transfer expert and legend in the building, right? Forget about Fabrizio Romano. This next guy, he knows everything you need to know when it comes to transfers, right? He's grounded. He's logical. He's the most fair and the voice of reason when it comes to Arsenal. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Lee Judges.
How are we doing, Robert? You all right?
I'm good. What's that? What you got around your waist there?
I've got a blanket around me because it's cold. Like I'm out in the sticks, like, you know, and it's cold. So it's -4 already out in the sticks. I'll tell you, like, you know.
A blanket. I mean, you got this image of a hard man, right? And you've got a bloody blanket on. What's going on?
I know. I'm just chilling, minding my own business, and I got a call from Ryan, so here I am, like, you know, straight on it, like, you know. I'm no good to you now, like, now Edu's gone, I'm no good no more, like, you know what I mean?
You got no more leaks. You got no more leaks. Listen, what do you want to see in this January transfer window?
Do you know what? I think, if I'm being really honest, I don't know how everybody else feels about it, a bit of ambition from the club. And that means getting in a striker that's going to give us a fair chance of winning the title, and also Champions League, you know. I don't think, if I'll be really honest, Rob, that we're going to win anything if we don't get that in, you know. You look at the players that we've got at the moment, they've been doing it for a couple of years. Good players as they are, I'm not criticising Havertz, Jesus and all that, but what they lack and their weakest part of their game is goal scoring. It's as simple as that. And that's what we need, someone that's going to put the ball in the back of the net. I was talking about this with my mate earlier on today, and it's all right saying, like, you know, well, we was a top goal scorers last season, we've done this and we've done that. But there was games last season when it really mattered, where West Ham at home, Aston Villa at home, Bayern Munich in the Champions League, when you need that goal, when you need that moment of decisiveness, which Newcastle had against us on Tuesday. Not a lot between the two teams, Rob. Nothing really to split the two teams, but they had the clinical finisher that we didn't. You look at Bayern Munich, they had Harry Kane. Look at the Aston Villa game, Ollie Watkins. Just those sort of things that you need to do. And we've again used last season, as good as what we were. There were those games in the season. They're there again this season. And, you know, we're going against Man United tomorrow. We might beat Man United tomorrow. We might beat Spurs on Wednesday. But somewhere along the line, you're going to need that killer that's going to get you out of jail in a game. And we haven't got that. And that's the problem. And they're not easy to find. I'll give the club credit for that. You know, it's not easy to find, but we need you have a window of opportunity. It may only be 2-3 years of winning the league, and we've been there before. We know what it's like. We've had fantastic footballers, you know, back with the Omris and the Ian Wrights and the Nelkas and everything like that. But we had a window of opportunity of 1 or 2 years, and we took those opportunities. We might next year not have that opportunity ever again, Rob. It might be now or never. And you need to be doing all you can to, I think, to try and win this damn thing. We've come
Yeah,
close in
yeah,
the last couple of years, really close, and it's been a fantastic ride. But I don't know. Well, we do know. We're getting a sense of feeling from a lot of fans now that they're a little bit peeved with what's going on. Mikel Arteta pressure coming onto him. People are now starting to criticise the Cronkies again, aren't they? So
yeah. We've had that today.
yeah, I think it. Yeah, and you can see why. There's all the reasons why, but from my point of view, you've got to look at it and go, look, if you go out there and get the striker and it doesn't work, at least people will have the. Oh, and I will as well, that they've tried. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We've tried. And I think that's important. We spend a lot of money, we talk to fans and all that, paying like 80, 90, £100 for tickets tomorrow. You know, we're
or
putting our
more.
money in there every week, so there is that thing of like, come on. And I'm not, also, Robert, my mate said this today, which is a great point. He said, look, for 7 years, we're saying, oh, we can't do this, can't do that because we've got to be in the Champions League. We've got to be in the champion. We've got in the Champions League for 2 years. This is our second year in it. And we've hardly spent any money. If you look at it, I know we spent 70 odd million in the summer, but we got £35 million back for Smith Rowe, who was come through the academy. We sold Eddie as well, who come through the academy. I think it was another 30 million. So that's 65 million. So how much money did we actually spend in the summer? Not a lot.
And that money, by the way books are balanced, that's pure profit.
For a profit, yeah.
When you sell a player from your academy, on your balance sheet, that goes down as pure profit. If you buy a player from elsewhere, say, I don't know, we sold Jesus and we sold him for 50 million, that would be a profit of 5 million because we actually paid 45 for him or something like that. But when you've got a player that's come through your academy's clear profit, which then enables you to go out but it's what Chelsea have done very well, and it's enabled them to always stay ahead of the game when it comes to PSR. So they have the money is there to spend. I think Lee, earlier on, right, there was a guy who made a comment. I think his name is Cryptic Dino, and he says, you can have your plans for the summer, but you have to be able to adapt your plans. And I think he was spot on. You may have been at the start of the season thinking, right, this is what we got now. Maybe we might do something in the January if need be. But in the summer, we're planning to get him, and him. But those things change. And that's what we've seen this season. We've looked poor in attack. Now Saka's out. And I don't know if you saw the interview we did with the doctor saying 4 to 6 months. That really, it's looking like he could be gone for the whole season, right? We have to go and adapt our plans and go and make a signing, a forward player. I think more than one in this January transfer window. Even if one's a loan and one's a permanent, plans that you got for the summer need to be brought forward.
Yeah, I totally agree. And listen, Spurs get criticised, and their manager, their chairman, gets criticised left, right, and centre. They're singing songs about him at the moment. But from my understanding, that goalkeeping situation was meant to be for the summer, but they've pushed that forward. So Spurs, were desperate for a goalkeeper through injury and everything like that. Have pushed it forward. Now I know it's a little bit different with a goalkeeper to a forward, but the fact of the matter is, our best player, our talisman, our go-to guy, and I don't care what anybody says, as good as Odegaard is, it is Saka. Saka's our main man. And as you quite rightly say, even if he's out for 2 months, Rob, it's 2 months too long. Yeah. So, but you know that can happen at any stage, but it's happened before the transfer window. So it's a blessing, I think if it happened towards in February, there's nothing you can do about it and you just have to accept it. But it's happened before. So if there's a blessing for him to be injured, it was before the transfer window. It's now, believe it or not, 3 weeks since he went down. So three weeks ago, come on, you're not going to be able to replace him internally. Wanyeri can do it.
Well, he's injured as well.
But he shows that he can do it, but he can't do it on a regular basis because he's injured now. And and he's only a kid, Rob. You know what I mean? His body's still growing. So, to ask him to come in and play 10, 15 games to the end of the season, and also in the back end of the season when you know every game's very, very more important.
Oh, we lost Lee. All right, we lost Lee. We'll see if we can get Lee back. Let me just run through some super chats in the meantime. Ollie says Nico in January, Isak in the summer. Stephen Ireland's grandmother says blankets, utter woke nonsense. Hashtag Dutch. Where's he going with that blanket? Michael says, Lee, what is Arteta doing at this moment in time? O'Malley says, need that Reyes signing like 0304 to give us a boost. I think we got Lee back. See that
sure,
one?
it's the internet. It's the internet in the. I've got Michelle on the bike now. She's out there doing the internet, like, you know what I mean. It's a nightmare.
Okay. O'Malley says we need that Reyes signing like 0304 to give us a boost. Very good one. Fans need to start protesting, says Najee. Oh, come on, protesting about what? I mean, come on, we're going a bit over the top now. I mean, we are second in the league, you know, but there's a lot to be done. But protesting, no. Michael says, Lee, what about Sterling at this moment in time? Surely he plays tomorrow. Yeah. Otherwise, just send him back to Chelsea.
Yeah, 100%. I think he's got to play tomorrow. If he doesn't play tomorrow, when's he going to play? And he needs to be given a platform or an opportunity to say if he's a hit or a miss. I don't think he's been really given that much of an opportunity. So look, he's been injured the last couple of games when we probably needed him. But yeah, you've got to give him a go now, like, you know. And look, because he hasn't hit the ground running in this bit, it doesn't mean to say he can't do it in the last part of the season and be a big player for us. But he needs to be given the opportunity, and I'll be very, very disappointed if he doesn't start tomorrow. Very disappointed.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, you know, what I mean, we just need to. I mean, the other thing is as well, though. Even if he does start, we still need players. Still need players, Lee.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I'm with you on it. I think we need two. You know what I mean? Because it's not no guarantee that Martinelli, Havertz, or Trossard are going to be available every single game. And if you're playing them every single game, like I looked at the fixtures today, like sorting out for you know, we play every game, Saturday, weekend and week in the midweek up until February.
Yeah,
February is up until you know. Depending on whether we win this game on Sunday or not, like then if we don't, then we'll have a weekend off. But if we do, it's a big ask to ask players to play, you know, every 3 or 4 days. So, you know, and I understand, you know, that Trossard's not happy about his new contract for whatever reason. So he could actually end up selling someone at the end of this window as well, like, you know what I mean? So it is a bit of a worry, like, you know, and Rob, you know, it's true, you have to ask this question, you know, not protesting and things like that. But I think questions have got to be asked why we've let ourselves into this position. You know what I mean? We're in a position where realistically you're in a position of strength. You know, you're challenging for the title to let this happen. And also don't forget next season, if you don't go and buy these strikers in this window, you've got to address the midfield situation as well next season. So, you know, whatever happens, it's not going to be a cheap window next year. So I think that, you know, a little few questions have got to be asked. We haven't even really at this moment got anybody doing the job. We've not replaced Edo at this moment in time. So, you know, January can be a make or break month for us, I think.
Definitely.
Right now. I really do. Long term as well, because I don't know how you feel. Like I'm very much a supporter of Arteta and the board at this moment in time because of what they've done in the last couple of years. But if they don't do nothing in January and we end up winning nothing and going down that road, I think I'm gonna turn, Rob.
Yeah. I think people will turn if they don't do anything this January transfer window, and we end up winning nothing. It'd be looked at. I do think it would be a dereliction of duty.
Yeah, I do as well.
And I'm like you. I've been saying, you know, Arteta's done a great job since he's come in. He's got us challenging for the leagues and stuff like that. And I know and I understand the circumstances. It's, You know, what we got to remember is that, like, last year, everybody was fit. Ben White was fit literally the whole season. Odegaard was fit the whole season. You know, Saka was fit the whole season. We had everybody motoring, you know, we had a fresh Declan Rice. Everybody was motoring. Those things haven't been the case this season. But like you said, the injuries have sort of come in January. So that gives you a chance to do something about it. You may not be able to fix it completely, but like you said, Lee, at least you tried. And if they do nothing and then make excuses about waiting till the summer when there's everything to play for, because we're only halfway through the season, halfway, people. The season ain't done, despite what Liverpool fans might say or think. It ain't over. If you do nothing, then people will turn. And I'd actually be understanding of that, because you see the reasons why. I mean, I even see the reasons why at the moment. I see the reasons for the frustration, because we don't have a striker. We should have got that in the summer.
I do. Look, listen, in the summer, when we didn't, you know, make the signings, we went, I was still no, I trust in the manager, trust in the board, you know, and if someone like Yardman, Dan Potter's another one, Turkish, you know, were coming at you and going, oh, this ain't good. I thought, hold on a minute, I'll back you. Hold on, I'm in there. I'll argue the case. Now they're coming out of it. I'm really now, oh, well, I can see where you're coming from, sort of thing. Like, you know, I'm not saying that they've swayed me and made me make that decision at this moment in time. None of those people will. What will make my decision is what Arsenal do and what they do. Listen, if they don't sign anybody in the summer, in this window, and they go on and miraculously win the league, you'd hold your hands up and say,
you're gambling, isn't it?
It's a massive gamble. It is a massive gamble. I think.
I think we don't sign no one. I don't think we can win the league.
I personally don't think
that attack is potent enough to win it. It needs freshening up. CHB, by the way, said United. I said earlier, because there was a fan who came on and said Arsenal. He was an Arsenal fan. He goes, "Oh, we got a small club mentality. I mean, little signings and that." And I said, "Listen, we signed a player for £100 million in Declan Rice, and I can only think of two other clubs, Man City and Chelsea, who've signed players for over £100 million. He said, who've United signed for £100 million? No, they haven't. Can you think of it?
I think they're on about 90 million, aren't they, mate?
90 is not 100. They've not signed a player for 100 million.
I think Declan Rice was 105.
Yeah, Declan Rice 105 million. Grealish was 100 million. Caicedo is over 100 million, and so was Fernandes.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying but you can't say these things like it's. You can say we haven't signed a striker, and I'm with you, but to say that small club mentality, we ain't signed a striker, you know. What happened to 7 out of 10 window, Rob? Your lies, right? That was my opinion at the time, and
still is my opinion.
Still my opinion. And I said at the time, if it had signed a striker, it'd be 9.
Yeah.
Right? And you can only give your opinion at the time. You don't know anybody, right? When you sign players, you don't know which player is going to work from not. But I said 7 out of 10, but we should have signed a striker. That could have brought it up to a 9 if we bought a striker. And we didn't sign the strikers. Go back and see what I said. Come back with that quote.
Yeah, right? I said the same. I said the same, and I still stand by it.
An idiot. Stop saying rubbish. You know what I mean? It's not a truth or lie to say your opinion. Right, it's your opinion.
And a 7 out of 10 is not a great window. Like if you play 7 out of 10 on a football game, it's not an outstanding performance.
7 out of 10 is what I class as a decent window. But what I wanted to see was a striker in there to take it up to 8.59 window, where I'm like, and we didn't do that. Bar Chat Sports with a super chat, thank you very much. And OG says Arteta lost my respect after the Carabao Cup ball excuse. I have to say, with that ball thing, I mean, he shouldn't have said what he said, but he was wheeled into it by the journalists with their very smart, devious questions in it. I mean, like, if you actually watched the full interview, he wasn't making excuses about balls and that.
No, but as we've agreed and we said on the Invincibles, he probably shouldn't have gone down that route as what he said.
He just avoided it.
He should have avoided that, like, you know what I mean? And to be honest, he's experienced enough now. I know Julian was saying, oh, he's still not experienced and whatever, but He's experienced that. He's been
5
there
years.
5 years now. He should know how to press work and things like that. Particularly after what he said about the community shields. I know that was a bit of a joke as well, but he
Yeah.
got lined up for that as well. They lined him up for that,
Mm.
and I think
He said that as a joke, and they took that literally.
Yeah, and I think this one here, he should have just batted it down a bit better than what he did.
Earth and 3D says Mateta for 30 million caused a lot of problems when we if we got Mateta in, everybody would be, after a month or so, they'd all be moaning, why did we get him? Not clinical enough, but come on, right? He ain't
we took a striker from Crystal Palace once before, and it was very good. It worked out very good. So I'm not going to knock it.
He was a lot better than Mateta, right? Tyrone Francis says 0 out of 10 for the transfer window. Can I just say something? The transfer window, had we have not, right? I know a lot of people complained about the defenders we bought, right? Had we have not bought those defenders, it would have been an absolute crisis at the back, right? Because, the amount of defenders that we've had injured this season, I mean, my God. But now they've got to go out there and get the striker situation sorted out. Got to.
No, I will say, one thing I will say about the transfer window is that Marino and Calafiori, when it really mattered in that semi-final, they're not contributing. And Sterling, because obviously injury, but they weren't there. So I get what people are saying about the transfer window, but I think in Calafiori, for instance, you can't say he's been a miss. A fantastic goal, Man City. He looks a player for me. He looks like he's going to be a good player. Marino, you can. I'm not convinced, but at the end of the day, the jury's still out on him, if I'll be honest. So, it's not been as great as what it is.
You have to give players time. I mean, I was chatting to a Liverpool fan yesterday, and he said to me, he goes, guys, you guys, man, the way I've seen you going at Marino, he goes, Cody Gakpo last year, poor.
Yeah.
Weren't really doing nothing. And he goes, look at him this year. You know what I mean? He goes, look at him this year. He goes, are you telling me that if he was available, Arsenal wouldn't want him? So that is the truth. He also said Szoboszlai last year weren't all that. This year, looking at a quality player. He then also said to me, he goes, Robbie, last year, Gravenberch, Terror looked like a really poor signing.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Now people are saying, best defensive midfielder in the league. Sometimes you have to have a bit of patience. I get it. Patience is thin because we want the signing is going to come in and do things. But some of the stuff I've seen on Marino, you got to give a guy a chance because those players that he named out at Liverpool, they all didn't pull up any trees last season. None of them. And now look what they're doing. So, it was a great point he made, Doesn't do nothing for Dominic, though. He says, stop with the excuses. Marino's 28 years old, and that's it. All right, so he ain't having it, right? But to me, you've got to get... Guy came in, broke his shoulder straight away.
You can't. Robbie, anybody that's played football will tell you as well, like, if you don't have a pre-season, it's a lot harder. If you get a pre-season under your belt, at any level... It does help, and you go to a new club with no pre-season, it's tougher, But I don't see what he offers. He doesn't offer us what I think we all want. You know what I mean? I think that's the thing. But he's still got qualities. You know what I mean? Otherwise, he wouldn't be an Arsenal player. And I do see some decent stuff in him, you know what I mean? So you just got to give him a little bit more time, see what happens.
Well, I reckon he might play tomorrow.
I think he will.
If he plays tomorrow, he's going to have to put in a performance. But we're coming towards the end, Lee. Let me get your prediction for tomorrow, actually. Sort of I know we've been talking about transfers, but big game tomorrow, we'll both be there. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I heard your prediction. You reckon we're going to lose, isn't it?
Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if we did lose. That's what I'm saying, you know what I mean? I'm going here hoping that we can. I'm not convinced by the way we're playing at the moment. I've said that for a long while. Our home form, even though we've been winning games, I don't think it's convincing. I think the way Man United will set up is not our strength. You know what I mean? I think if Spurs come on Wednesday and play us at our own game, I'll be more confident. But I think Man United, the way they played against us in the league game. I think they'll do it again this time around. I do think there will be changes. Been watching a little bit of the FA Cup. Very, very surprised. Every team that I've seen so far have played their second choice goalkeeper. Everyone, like, you know what I mean. So of the big teams, you know. So I'm imagining Neto's there. I even think Man United have said that they're going to play their reserve team goalkeeper.
I think Neto will play. And you know, a lot of them teams have been very lucky. You know, I mean, when you're playing against Salford and all these sort of teams, you know what I mean? You know, Accurate and Stanley, and that's what I said right from I saw that draw come out. I mean, we can't even really rest too many. It was such a big game.
That was the annoying thing about the draw. It wasn't about playing Man United. It was the fact that we couldn't rest players, and I think Man United, to a certain degree, will rest a few. But like, you know, look at what Liverpool done today. They rested all their big guns.
Played a 16-year-old.
What a lovely luxury that is. The weekend before league games, you know, they go to Nottingham Forest, a big league game for them, but they can rest everybody. Now, you know, I'm in loads of predictions, Rob. People saying like, oh, it'll be going, you know, a draw, going to extra time. You know what I mean? Extra time, penalties before, and then 3 days later playing Spurs. You know, we've got to get the job done and get it. I don't want to see this. Mikel, we play for one half. We play walking football one half, and then the second half we come out for it. Go out for the game and just try and win it early doors. But I do worry that they're sitting and we'll get caught on the break. That's my worry.
Yeah, I'm going to go for 2-1 win to Arsenal. I just don't think they can defend as well as Newcastle does. And Newcastle, one of the best organised teams in the league, they can defend set pieces really well. I ain't sure that United can do that. Well, United did very well last week. They got a draw. They didn't win that game, by the way. They got a draw, but it was a great draw at Liverpool. But I fancy us tomorrow. I think it's going to be. And
also, if they got that goalkeeper in, Rob, you know what I mean. Look at his set pieces against Tottenham. You know what I mean? Like, let's be loading them in there, please, Declan. Let's be loading them in there, you know.
Got to start fast, though. Got to start. I'm looking forward to the game.
Got to start fast.
Looking forward. To
looking forward to it. I look forward to every game.
Yeah, Lee, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you.
No problems. No worries.
Thank you very much. This has been a Transfer Daily special going live. I've really enjoyed it. Loads of you have been watching, loads of comments. So we will definitely do this again. So make sure you join me. We'll be back with a normal Transfer Daily in the morning. And of course, we've got the match coming up tomorrow. So we've got all of our great coverage all around the game. So make sure you check it out. And coming up on Monday, the big interview that we did with Sol Campbell. Sol Campbell will be revealing the reasons why he left Tottenham Hotspur in secrecy to join Arsenal. Thank you very much for watching us. We have got a Oh, I was going to play the trailer. We have got a very, very special guest, our Arsenal Invincible, our Arsenal legend. We got Sol Campbell in the building. Of course, we have to start with that move. Right,
it's a bit foggy. I can't remember. Yeah, people's gonna be pissed off. People are never gonna forgive me. Some people moved on. We've got a new stadium, new training ground, new kind of everything's amazing going forward, and you're still harping about me. It's like, what's going on here? If I'm older and kids and things like that, it's different. I want to win. I wanted to win, and I won. This feels like love, man. Yeah, exactly. Some love, baby.
Trent Alexander-Arnold possibly could go to.
He's not gonna go to Everton, is he?
He's not going to go to Everton. He's not going to go to Everton.
Did any Arsenal player look at you, sideways coming through the door, being from Tottenham?
I think maybe they were shocked, saying, "My God, you got fucking balls, haven't you?"
Yeah, that was massive.